You're just about to hear an interview with Sarah, who has just come out of chemo and isolation. I am going to warn you that you can't hear her very well because it's just recorded on my phone, so you might want to listen to this on headphones or certainly turn the sound up. It does mean that my voice will be a lot louder than Sarah's voice. I apologise for that, but please listen to her because she has a lot of cool stuff to say. Sarah has just come out of isolation, I believe.
Yes, hello.
So could you tell us about your chemo and isolation and your experiences and how long and exactly what happened?
Okay, so chemo was 4 days and it was tiring. I got nauseous and sick, but not bad, and they give you lots of medication to help with it. I've been sicker. The flu's worse, gastro's worse, I've been sicker.
So you had 4 days of chemo that was not too bad. You got a bit nauseous,
Yeah.
but they sorted you out.
Yeah. I vomited twice, I think, but they give you drugs straight away and it just goes away.
Did you find that you were tired when you were in chemo?
Yes, yep, I was tired and just tired, but I think what helped is eating. If
Really?
I didn't eat, I'd feel more sick.
So did you eat your own food? Did you take your own food in there to keep you snacked up?
Yeah, toast was my life.
Really? So you had a toaster?
Yes.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah.
Did you have to ask specifically for a toaster?
Yeah, I asked for a toaster. They've got some floating around from previous HSCTs.
Cool. So you had 4 days of chemo. You've got some bandages on your wrists. Is that anything to do with chemo or is that isolation?
Isolation. I had a complication with my catheter.
Yeah.
And the stitch came loose a little bit.
Right.
So there was air getting through it.
Yes, I heard about this.
Yeah. So they just switched to normal bung IV.
Yeah.
And then they changed it today because it'd been in for like 4 days.
Right. So you felt really sort of tired. Was there any particular day that you felt more tired than others? Is there any day of chemo that's worse?
Probably day 3.
Day 3 or 4 was your worst.
Yeah.
And in those 4 days, lots of sounds. In those 4 days, you it was all pretty much the same. You just had the same things going on each day. Were they giving you an infusion in the morning?
Yes. Yep.
So was that how many hours infusion was that?
2, 3 all up, but chemo 2, because they give you steroids first.
Right.
And then they give you the chemo.
And do they give you anything else later in the day as well after that?
Yep, so they're giving you all the anti-nausea and all that stuff.
So brilliant. And so you came out of that. That was 4 days of chemo. But the way I understand it, your immune system is not knocked out until actually maybe a day or 2 after you finish chemo. Is that right?
Yeah, yeah. So it dropped to 0.02.
So is that like a percentage? 0.02 meaning 2% of your immune system?
Or it'll be less than 2%, I think. It's pretty low. They show you the... Do you want me to get the chart?
You can do if you want.
Yeah, I'll get the chart.
So we're just here. Yennu is waiting for her new catheter. I've just had my catheter put in and Frank is having his in at the moment. Here's Sarah returning with her chart.
Huh. So that's actually higher than I thought. So 0.74 I went into isolation. And then day 4 it dropped to the lowest, 0.02.
Can I? So there's a chart. I have no idea what any of it means, but it looks like day +7 was the lowest. Leukocytes, is that your is that the stuff that fights? That's your immune system, right? So there are days where it's 0.03, 0.02, 0.03, 0.06, 0.02, 0.07. So all pretty low, and then you're out obviously in isolation.
Yeah.
So how was isolation for you?
I loved it. I loved it. I was like, they're not going to get me out of here.
Why not? Why? How come?
It was so peaceful, and you don't have to do anything or worry about anything.
So what did you do to keep yourself busy?
I watched Grey's Anatomy.
All 1 million episodes.
Binge watched, yes, yeah.
So that's basically it. Is technology is the key to keeping yourself sane in isolation?
Maybe.
So for those who don't know, you have to get dressed up in hospital whites. You can't wear your own clothes. What stuff can you have in your room?
My clothes and all that were still in there, just in the drawers. Still had all my face wash, everything. You just basically, you get the sterile clothes every day, and you wash your body with the alcohol every day and the mouthwash.
And things like your tablets or laptop, do they clean that for you before isolation?
Yeah, so you're allowed all that, and they'll just clean it.
And so basically, it's as if you are before isolation, so say in chemo or in steroid and stem cell, that kind of period, but you're just not allowed out.
Yeah.
So, and it's all pretty standard.
Yep.
And food-wise, is there any difference, or is it just the same? They just come in?
Food's the same, you just got to heat it up in the microwave for a bit.
So you have to give an extra heat in the microwave to kill off any bacteria that might have got on it in the meantime. Are there any other hints or tips or bits of interest about isolation or chemo?
Just relax and take everything as it comes.
Yeah. Your hair doesn't seem to have fallen out.
It's nearly, yeah, it's falling out.
Is it?
It's like everywhere.
Right.
Yeah.
So when does that particularly happen? So you have your chemo over 4 days, you have a day off,
Yeah.
and then you have your stem cells put back in,
Yeah.
and then you go into isolation. So when does your hair start properly falling out?
I think everybody's different, but mine didn't start until day 7.
So that's day 7. That includes the 4 days of chemo. So that's what day 7 means. Is that right?
Yes. So day 7 in isolation.
Oh, day 7 in isolation. Right. Okay. Wow.
Yeah.
So that happened pretty late, and that's still ongoing, obviously, because your eyebrows are still there.
Yeah. Yeah. Basically, everything else has gone apart from arms and eyebrows, eyelashes.
And do you feel any different in isolation? Is there any kind of, again, tiredness, nausea, anything like that, or is it just a case of waiting for your body to recover and you feel just pretty normal but a bit weak?
Yeah, basically. And lots of my symptoms aren't there.
Really?
Yeah.
So can you talk us through that?
Yeah, so I made a post on my page the other day. I didn't even realise, because you're so used to them being there that you just notice them.
Yeah.
But they were gone, and I didn't realise.
Oh wow, that's so cool.
So at the moment I just have numbness in these 3 fingers, and my memory's still a bit funny, but heat intolerance, pins and needles, numbness, weakness, all that's gone.
Oh wow, that's so cool.
Yeah, it's pretty amazing.
Already?
Yeah.
And are you expecting then that to then get worse? Because there's the idea that actually a lot of people get worse before they get better.
Yeah.
Although there are some instant successes, they might then go, and then you might get your symptoms back again before they eventually get better again. Is that right?
Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
Cool. So
roller coaster.
It's a bit of a roller coaster. So you must be pretty stoked to be out the other side.
Oh, I'm so happy. Yeah. I'll do it all again too.
Really?
Yeah, any day.
What advice do you give to anyone else, or what can you say just to finish it off?
I think be as positive as you can, and have a a really good mindset going in. Yep.
Awesome. Well, look, Sarah, it's fantastic. Well done for doing what you've done, and I hope your recovery continues apace. You're a legend.
Thank you.
As far as what's happened to me today, I have had my old catheter removed. Actually, no, I haven't. I had that removed yesterday, but I've had a new catheter put in, which has 3 compartments on it. It's slightly smaller, and it was put in the same place as my previous catheter. They were going to put it on the other side of my neck, but they found that my jugular was a bit smaller on that side, so they put it on the same side as my previous catheter. And this was, you know, under local anaesthetic, really simple, nice, easy thing to have done. So my catheter is ready now for me tomorrow for my chemo infusions to be put into it. I'm sorry that I didn't give you any warning about this. This is quite possibly the most horrific thing you will see of my whole video series. Before I came out to have my HSCT done in Russia, I became a vegan sort of 6 months ago, and I lost loads of weight and my body was looking pretty trim. However, when you get put on steroids, you balloon, and I have ballooned. I mean, this is 7 kilograms worth of excess liquid that's just appeared from nowhere. So I look like some kind of Teletubby waddling about. That is my real stomach. It's not prosthetics, and I just thought I'd show you that because that's a pretty standard thing that happens when you get your stem cells extracted and you're on those steroids. You will put on some weight, and it will basically be liquid, sort of water retention, as you can see there. It's quite horrific, and apologies again. Yeah, I'm not winning Mr. Universe anytime soon.